So this afternoon we're going to be looking at future-proofing the front lines of the AI economy, where autonomy meets scale, responsibility and real-world execution. As before, I'll introduce everyone all at once. So here goes. To lead us off, we'll have Radoslav Štefánek, the Slovak Republic's government plenipotentiary for artificial intelligence, leading national efforts to harness AI for strategic innovation and global competitiveness. In his role, he plays a central part in advancing Slovakia's contribution to European digital transformation, spanning AI governance, data policy, and emerging technologies. Through close collaboration with public institutions, industry, and international partners, his work focuses on building secure, responsible, and competitive digital ecosystems aligned with democratic values.
I'm not used to speak for such a nice, audience. It's all the times on all the events, like this kind of boring. You are telling something behind the round table of the European Commission, and nobody is listening to, because all the speeches are produced by ChatGPT. And when you are listening to after the 5 of them, that the three first were made by the same model, because they are completely same. I was sitting somewhere, I don't know, it was OECD, OSN, ITU, European Commission or GPI, doesn't matter. I was just there, 55 people behind the desk. I was just, what the hell is going on? This I've already, heard, somewhere. And after that, another same one. So I had to change my one, because, my colleagues, they are very, very nice, but they prepared me the same one. So probably they used ChatGPT in that time. So I knew that I have maybe 20, 25 minutes till the moment I'm on, on the air. So I use 3 different models, including Mistral, to change the content. And finally, it was very good. But this is how we use, technologies today, just like that, without any, better knowledge. So, but this time, and for this very nice audience, when we were preparing for this event, we discussed it a lot with my colleagues. So I'm trying to tell you something about Slovakia and our view of artificial intelligence, technology, and just, to introduce you the country and our priorities. So, but I apologize, but I'm going to read it because it's, it's very nice, and I'm not able to remember it at all because it's kind of, long. So thank you very much for the organizers that you give me this opportunity to be here and to speak and to do this networking. It's very nice. So I'm glad that I can be here and speak to you. So, distinguished guests, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege to join you here in Como at a time when the artificial intelligence is not merely advancing, it is a fundamentally reshaping the structure of our economies, our institutions, and increasingly the physical world around us. We are no longer speaking only about digital AI confident to data centers and software platforms. We are entering the era of physical AI where intelligence is embedded in machines, infrastructure, and industrial systems. The coverage of AI with robotics, advanced manufacturing, and cyber-physical system represents the next frontier of economic transformation. For Slovakia, this is not an abstract concept. It is a strategic opportunity, hope so. Slovakia stands at, I would say, a unique intersection. We are one of the Europe's most industrialized economies deeply integrated into global value chain, particularly in automotive, engineering, and manufacturing. At the same time, we are a country with strong technical education, growing innovation capacity, and the institutional agility to implement change quickly. Once you are small, you can do it fast, but sometimes not. No. This combination positions Slovakia as a potential test bed. This is what we want to do. We know what is our scale for industrial and physical AI deployment. Where others may focus on developing large-scale foundation models, Slovakia's competitive advantage lies in application, integration, and execution, bringing AI from theory into real-world industrial environments. Allow me to briefly outline how we are approaching this transformation. In December 2025, just a couple of months ago, Slovakia introduced its national AI vision. We made it in 3 months, structured around the core pillars which include infrastructure and high-quality data ecosystems, efficient AI-enabled public transformation, education, and an innovation ecosystems. These pillars are not theoretical. They are designed to create a functional AI ecosystem where innovation, governance, and skills reinforce one another in practice. Our ambition is clear: to ensure that companies operating in Slovakia, whether domestic or international, can fully leverage AI technologies without needing to relocate innovation activities elsewhere. At the same time, we are transforming the state itself into active users of AI, reducing administrative burden, improving public services. Currently, I would say more than 70% of payment in Slovakia is made by cell phone. So this is how we adopt technologies. But strategy alone is not sufficient. Europe has no shortage of strategies, as we know. When I started my job a year ago, the first what I found was the library of strategies. But they weren't connected. It was crazy. So after first 2 weeks, I decided to put them to the garbage because it made no sense for me. What matters now, critically, is execution. Slovakia is focusing on implementation capacity, transforming policy into deployable systems. This includes aligning our national legislative framework with European AI Act, probably, while ensuring the regulation is not an obstacle, but an enabler. When it comes to AI Act, it has 400 pages, I would say. So, best practice, we want to ask our friends in different member states if they can, introduce their regulations, just, copy-paste. So we ask guys from Sweden, they are very good, but their regulation, their AI Act has almost 1,000 pages. The others, what is currently in this, governmental process or the discussion has 40 pages. So this is how we try to do it. So we are introducing clear institutional competencies, supervisory mechanisms aligned with EU standards, regulatory sandboxes to support experimentation and innovation. And we are discussing with our partners from different member states, to join us in regulatory sandboxes, because it makes no sense to have a particular sandbox for one member state if you want to scale your products at least in the European market. This approach reflects a fundamental principle: trust and innovation must evolve together. Businesses require predictability. So, who can do this? Citizens require assurance, and governments must deliver both simultaneously. Let me now turn to a topic of growing importance for this audience: Europe's position in the global AI landscape. Europe remains a serious player. We have world-class research, strong industrial capacity, and a unique strength in human-centric and trustworthy artificial intelligence. However, we must be candid. We are at strategic crossroads. Europe is still partially dependent on external technologies, particularly in large-scale models and computational infrastructure. The challenge is not a lack of talent or ideas. It is our ability to scale, deploy, and commercialize the innovation rapidly across one European single market. This is precisely where smaller, agile countries like Slovakia can contribute meaningfully. We can pilot new regulatory and technological approaches, accelerate deployment in industrial environments, bridge the gap between research and application. In other words, we can help Europe move from innovation to implementation. Within this broader European context, I would like to emphasize the importance of international partnerships. Just as Slovakia has demonstrated the value of bilateral competition or cooperation in AI, forums like the one provide a platform to expand this collaboration across borders, sectors, and disciplines. In the era of physical AI, no country can succeed in isolation. We need shared data ecosystems, interoperable standards, talent mobility across Europe. So I guess what we have. Partnerships are not a complement to competitiveness. They are its foundation. Let me now focus more directly on physical AI as they represent one of the most promising and demanding areas of deployment. Physical AI requires the integration of multiple domains: artificial intelligence, robotics and automation, edge computing and connectivity, advanced sensors and real-time data systems. Slovakia's industrial base provides a natural environment for deploying such systems at scale. From smart factories to autonomous logistics, from predictive maintenance to intelligent energy system, we see immediate opportunity to integrate AI into physical processes. Our objective is to position Slovakia as a European hub for applied industrial AI, where solutions are not only designed, but tested, validated, and scaled. However, the transformation also brings new challenges, particularly in the era of cybersecurity. As AI becomes embedded in critical infrastructure and physical systems, the attack surface expands significantly. AI-driven cyber threats are faster, more adaptive, and increasingly difficult to detect. Public administration, in particular, remains one of the most targeted sectors in Europe. The last year, in Slovakia, it increased more than 50%. Slovakia is already experiencing this trend. Our national cybersecurity team are handling and growing volume of incidents with a significant increase, as I said, more than 50%, in attempted disruption of public services. This reality requires a shift from reactive defense to proactive and predictive security. We are investing in early decision systems, vulnerability scanning, and coordinated response mechanisms. But equally important is information sharing and collective resilience. Because cybersecurity, like AI, is inherently a shared responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, if I want to summarize Europe's priority for the next 2, maybe 3 years in one sentence, it would be this: we must move from strategy to execution. This means turning regulatory frameworks into practical tools. We are missing practical tools. Enabling companies, especially the small and middle ones, to adopt AI at scale. Ensuring that governments lead by example as early adopters. It's hard. Building ecosystems that connect data, talent, infrastructure, and industry. Execution is where competitiveness is determined. In closing, let me return to where I began. Artificial intelligence is no longer confined to the digital realm. It is becoming embedded in the physical world, in machines, in infrastructure, and in the systems that underpin our economies. This shift toward physical AI represents a defining opportunity for Europe and for Slovakia as well. Our role is not to replicate what others are doing. Our role is to contribute where we are strongest, in industrial application, in system integration, in agile implementation, and above all, in building partnerships that transfer potential into real-world impact. So this is why we are here. Because ultimately, the future of AI will not be defined solely by algorithms or models, but by our ability to deploy them responsibly, scale them effectively, and ally them with the values we share. Thank you very much for your attention.